He's a really good horse, exceptionally good looking, and fast.
Lord Nelson is just a picture type. He's got a beautiful neck and shoulder. He's got a nice hip. He's really strong.
Extremely fast. He's very well balanced. This horse is just an incredible fighter. He's mentally tough. His constitution is just iron. He's as tough, I think, as they make horses.
Hi everybody, and welcome to Keeneland Babies, presented by Spendthrift, home to such notable stallions as Into Mischief, sire of Florida Derby winner Audible. He's a strong Kentucky Derby contender this year. I'm Dan Illman, along with Nicole Russo. The two-year-old babies on opening day, well, they're in the books, Nicole, and I guess the big surprise is that both Wesley Ward-trained favorites were beaten by a pair of Brett Calhoun-trained workmates.
Yeah, Brett Calhoun, those horses we had discussed on Friday's Keeneland Babies. They were working lights out with some bullets down at Evangeline. And again, as you noted, they're workmates. And remember, you can pick up intel like that in the Keeneland Clocker, available throughout the meet from our team at drf.com.
Well, let's take a look at the field for race number 1 on Sunday afternoon. Of course, we're going 4.5 furlongs. $60,000 is the purse. Spendthrift is represented by two intriguing new stallions. The 8 Boucan by Can the Man, the 11 Dreaming Diamonds by Cross Traffic. It'll be very interesting to see what we get from those two young stallions. But we'll take the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1, Analyze This Cat. Analyze This Cat, a $25,000 yearling, goes out for Corey Lannery, who won a 2-year-old race, I believe the opening race on opening day. This horse has a speed pedigree.
Yeah, very much so. He's by Overanalyze, who was one of last year's leading freshman sires. By any measure you looked at, earnings, winners, stakes winners, he duked it out throughout the year with violence in a very competitive year. Yeah, Overanalyze, very promising young stallion.
Dam also won her career debut sprinting at 2. Her second dam, a full sister to Bonaparte, a Grade 1 stakes winning sprinter. I wouldn't be surprised if this one has speed. The 2 is Giro Kate. I wonder if they got a bargain with Giro Kate, a $5,000 weanling who resold down for only $2,700 as a yearling. The dam's an unraced half-sister to Solo Mini, a leading Kentucky Derby contender.
Yeah, this is one of the most active female families out there right now. I do think that this family is better going a little bit longer, but of course it's a family of very good 2-year-olds, including Champion Midshipman and Solomini, who was second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, among other good efforts last year. It's also the family of Frosted, of course, multiple Grade 1 winner a couple of years back. One of the more active female families out there. I'd imagine that the sire Girolamo, who was not very commercially popular, is probably the reason for that price tag. Girolamo, that rare son of AP Indy, who could go shorter, who was, faster and more brilliant at those shorter distances. And the AP Indy line is crossed very well with that female family, horses like Frosted among that. I think this is a really intriguing pedigree and a bargain, as you said.
Wesley Ward trying to get back on track. He's got the 3 Stillwater Cove. This is a daughter of Quality Road, a $45,000 buyback as a yearling. The dam's a placed full sister to a nice horse, Interactif, who could certainly run on the turf. Really classy female family.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about another one of those families that just produces. You go back to the 4th dam and you see Personal Ensign, and that's all you need to know. Of course, that unbeaten champion, Blue Hen. Sometimes it skips a generation or two, but everything from that family just seems to run. And Cheddar Quality Road coming off a career year with champions Abel Tasman, Caledonia Road. This one, Stillwater Cove, has some solid works for Wesley Ward, but not as blazing fast as some of the others that we've seen on his work tab.
The 4 is Brooklyn's Shadow. This is the first starter by Grade 2 stakes winner Flashback. What do we know about this son of Tappet?
Flashback, pretty quick, pretty good-looking son of Tappet. We're kind of waiting for one of his sons to really break through at stud. This one's been working bullets over at the Thoroughbred Center in Lexington, working very strongly, but the work tab over there might not be as deep as some other places. So I maybe take those with a grain of salt.
$1,700 yearling. It looks like that last workout went out for trainer Travis Short's Jabberjaws, who debuted in race number 3 on Friday and was off the board. Brooklyn's Shadow 15-1 on the morning line. Dragic, a $100,000 yearling. This one's trained by Wesley Ward. He's by Broken Vow, and talk about a pedigree, a half to some nice horses, including J-Boy's Echo.
Yeah, and half to the grade 3 place, Unbridled Outlaw. Broken Vow, we've talked so much about the unbridled line in recent years with, horses like Bodymeister, American Pharaoh, so many good horses, of course, Arrogate emerging from the Unbridled sire line. And Broken Vow has kind of been the forgotten son of Unbridled in that, even though he's just been, good, stalwart, as he's always been. He had champion juvenile filly Champagne Room a couple of years back.
Not only kin to 2 graded earning horses, but the dam won a debut and also a grade 2 sprint. She was a fast one, earned a 92 Beyer top. The 6 is La Coyota. This is a filly by Take Charge Indy, only sold for $3,000 as a yearling. The dam's been fairly productive. She's foaled 5 winners.
Yeah, and you mentioned that yearling price. Take Charge Indy sort of had a hard time finding a commercial foothold here, and that's why he went overseas to South Korea. But now his first crop really coming alive, early in their 3-year-old year here, much as Take Charge Indy himself did. He's got Take Charge Paula out there going to the Kentucky Oaks, Louisiana Derby winner Noble Indy. So this one, might be a bit of a later developer, as some of these others have been.
The 7 is Ghostly Halo. Ghostly Halo only sold for $1,000 as a yearling, but there is some class on the bottom of this pedigree. The Unraced Dam, a half-sister to Diamond Stripes, and a couple of other nice horses like Summer Note.
Yeah, Summer Note, a graded winner on the turf. It's a nice family. Snapey Halo, an Argentinian-bred son of Southern Halo. He's another one who's had a hard time finding a commercial foothold here. This almost strikes me as a pedigree we'd want to look at for turf down the road. Again, with some of these 2-year-olds, if they're ready to run and you want to get them the experience, you're kind of limited at this point of the year as to what your options are.
Spendthrift, represented by number 8, Buchan, by Can the Man. This is the first starter by the Grade 3 Stakes winner Can the Man, who has a very strong female family in his own right, a $15,000 yearling. Lots of synthetic and turf influences in this family.
Very much so. You mentioned Can the Man's female family. There's a lot of class and depth back there, especially on the turf. Some really noted European runners in that family, along with American Classic runners. But Can the Man is by Spendthrift's successful sire Into Mischief. Into Mischief was a breakout freshman sire. He's a prominent juvenile sire. And if Can the Man follows in his sire's footsteps, this one is going to be well placed.
Buchan, the number 8, goes out for trainer Wayne Rice, who usually gives his horses a start or two before they score. Over the past 5 years with 2-year-olds, he was 1 for 29 going into opening day. He's now 1 for 31. The ROI goes down a little bit. Maybe Buchan will need a race. The 9 is Shanghai Fantasy. This one is by Shanghai Bobby, who had a 2-year-old debut winner on opening day in race number 3. A $5,000 yearling, but this is a half-sister to Scotland, who is Grade 2 Stakes placed going middle distances.
Yeah, and Shanghai Bobby, among the freshman class of last year, as I mentioned, very competitive freshman class. I believe he was 4th on the earnings list. These were really well-regarded horses. They were kind of supposed to light the world on fire, and in addition to finishing well on the traditional freshman earnings list, Shanghai Bobby among the leaders on DRS Beyer Sire performance standings for freshman sires. So they're not just winning, they're pretty quick horses.
Looks like this filly's worked a couple of times with trainer James Chapman's Zip Secret, who I believe ran either 3rd or 4th in the opening race on opening day. The 10 is Lucky Girasol, a $3,500 yearling purchase by Looking at Lucky, a half-sister to a Grade 2 Stakes Place sprinter. The dam was okay going long. She was Grade 3 Stakes placed, and she earned a 90 Beyer speed figure on the turf. So again, there's a lot of pedigree for this sort of price tag.
Yeah, I do like that Grade 2 placed sprinter in there that we've mentioned. This does strike me as more of a turfy pedigree, though. Of course, Looking at Lucky did all of his work on dirt, but he's by Smart Strike, such a good, versatile stallion who has sired some turf champions, of course, and you mentioned the dam's experience on turf and synthetic. This is one that, again, I'm going to watch for down the line in a little bit of a different spot, maybe.
The number 11 is Dreaming Diamonds by First Crop Spendthrift Stallion Cross Traffic, who ran some big races going long and was looking like he was going to be one of the top handicap horses in the country. Only a $1,000 yearling, but this dam was a stakes-winning dirt sprinter. We get some speed on the bottom of this pedigree. She had an 80 buyer top on her resume, and the fourth dam was a graded stakes winner. So again, some pedigree and, of course, a very interesting young First Crop Spendthrift stallion.
Yeah, and Cross Traffic, as you mentioned, a Grade 1 winner in his own right. He's by Unbridled Song, and Unbridled Song, interestingly enough, of course, he was so good as a stallion. He really hasn't had a son really truly strike as an outstanding stallion yet. But we've kind of pointed out that some of his better sons from later in his stud career, when he was maybe getting the better mares, are just going to stud now. Grade 1 winner Cross Traffic, certainly among those. Will Take Charge will have his first 2-year-olds this year. Of course, Arrogate going to stud this year. So I think that's an important thing to keep in mind with these sons of Unbridled Song.
The 12 is Ixtepic Town by Jersey Town. The Jersey Towns have not been very commercial. Perhaps that's why this one sold for only $1,000 as a yearling. The dam was a Grade 3 stakes place sprinter. She earned a 95 buyer, and she's a half-sister to Perfect Soul, who I believe was a champion turf horse in Canada. Plus, Jersey Town does pretty well with his debuting juveniles. Ixtepic Town, again, a bargain for this pedigree.
Yeah, and just a pedigree with speed on both sides. I believe the dam's best buyer was a 95, a good dirt sprinter, as you said. Sired Jersey Town by sprint champion Spitestown, won the Cigar Mile. So it's definitely a speed-on-speed type of pedigree. Luna
Nueva needs a scratch to break in from the also eligible list. Where are you going in race number 1 at Keeneland on Sunday? Is Wesley Ward getting back on the beam?
Yeah, well, you certainly cannot count any of them out. I think I have to take a look at Dragic. Yeah, I really am intrigued by some of the horses toward the outside who we've just discussed. Dreaming Diamonds by Cross Traffic. It's a speed-on-speed type of pedigree. The same with Ixtepic Town. But they're going to have to overcome that post position draw. I'm
a little interested in the 3, Stillwater Cove. It looks like one of those workouts was in company with her uncoupled stablemate, the 5, Dragic. As you mentioned, Quality Road having a breakout year last year in 2017. I like Stillwater Cove. I think the 2, Giro Kate, might be a little bit interesting. Again, that's that big family of Solo Mini. I wonder if the 12, also Ixtepic Town at a big price, can sneak into the number. But I'll go with Stillwater Cove in the opener at Keeneland on Sunday. It's the first of 2 Keeneland baby races, and Nicole and I will be back to talk about race 3 in a minute.